Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to yet another cast by myself, I Eat Skittles, and today we'll be looking at a game between RGNPerfect as our green Protoss, starting in the top left corner of the map, which happens to be GSL Crevasse, and in the bottom right, his opponent is going to be Bogie, spawning the teal Zerg, right down here. I cannot talk at all. This is another game, the first in a best of 3 series between these two players from the round of 32 of the last player standing tournament, which happens to be a tournament for Diamond through Grandmaster League, which I'm sure you're all aware of, as we've been uploading very many of these videos in recent days as the tournament progresses. I believe we are only casting the round of 64 and the round of 32 for this tournament. Later on they will be pulling in different casters for the later rounds. And I don't know, let's get into this game. Map is GSL Crevasse. We tend to see a lot of large macro games on this map. This very convenient expansion is very well hidden, well protected, difficult to get at except for by air. However, it does only have one Vespene Geyser. It's not even a rich Vespene Geyser, it's just an ordinary Vespene Geyser. So, although it does have the standard 6 mineral patches, so it's good for some things. You know, I didn't really realize it, but it only has 6 mineral patches before, rather than the standard 8 of most expansions. This one only has 5 mineral patches, but it does have a rich Vespene Geyser. And that is essentially your standard 4th, however it is difficult to defend as it is well out there. So unless you control the entire quarter of the map or so, or more than a quarter of the map in your area, it's very difficult to defend. Zerg is going for a quick expansion on 15 supply. As expected, he appeared to went hatch before spawning pool. Very common on this map. So much room, so much time. No early pressure is really going to bother you unless the Protoss decides to proxy gate. In any case, with these 1000 health destructible rocks, you have a fair bit of time either way, and a good little choke there. Seeing a quick expansion going down for the Protoss, he appears to have gone for a 1-gate expansion rather than Forge fast expansion, which is somewhat more common, but both plays are very standard. A Cybernetic core now coming down to, I believe this will actually leave just the one Zealot / Zergling wide opening right there. Yeah, there's definitely not an opening between the pylon, and it would, yep, looks to me like there's a one dude wide opening there, but nothing more. The rest of the wall off seems fairly solid, as you would expect from players at this level. They don't tend to mess up. Bogie has gone for the gas steal here, a little bit cheeky there. Will delay the Protoss a little bit if he was planning on going for a quick Stargate, I suppose. But no real calling it. Or perhaps if he was going for a 1-gate or 2-gate Rolo play. Yeah, it's definitely denied by not having that quick double gas. Our Zerg buddy on the other end has not taken any of his geysers. These ones, this one, nothing of the sort. And he looks to be wanting to spread the creep down between the two. Looks 2 spine crawlers coming up at the front. And perhaps he's looking to just play it a little bit safe while he techs up some, and maybe hold off something relatively 4-gate-ish out of his opponent. Apparently RGN stands for rain. I'm not entirely sure how you get rain with a G in the middle of it, but you do. Maybe it's the EI version of rain. A couple Zealots coming out, going to be streaming across the map, looks like. This has definitely been obviously found out by Bogie. And how is he going to react? He's dropping another queen and building drones, because not a problem, man. He does have these 2 spine crawlers. Very little worry. They do have a little bit of overseeing around this ramp. If he were to stream Zealots past, he'd probably get 2 past with already damaged health, and then they'd be dealing with a queen here, and wouldn't be a good situation for the Protoss. Dropping another spine crawler just because he can. Also, he likes to have this mineral line fairly secure. 1 queen is not quite enough to hold off a determined Zealot attack. 2 queens, a little bit better for this stage in the game. These 3 Zealots poke on in, getting poked by the spine crawler. Horrible, horrible thing to happen. That is not a very pleasant tip on that spine crawler. And the Zealots are just gonna, you know what, no. We're not getting paid enough for this. I'm going home. I lost my shields. Let's just call it a day after that. Got a Forge and quick +1 on the way. Warp Gate is mostly finished. I'm interested to see where he goes from here. He still is only sitting on the 1 gateway and getting that +1. No, 2 more gateways on the way, so perhaps a 3-gate robo, or it could be a +1 timing push, especially if we see him drop another gateway. I would not be at all surprised for that to come out of it. Yes, there comes 5 gates. 5 gates on 2 base is easily supportable, as you can guess. So those 5 gates with these 2 bases and +1, 6 gates, 7 gates, going very heavy into his gateway unit production. 7 gates is quite enough to have a very large army very quickly. To deal with this, the Zerg may have to take a 3rd, although it would also be very difficult to defend this. He's got the double Evo chambers now coming down. Spore Crawler coming out. Perhaps he's a little bit afraid of Dark Templar on the way. A quick 2 more Spine Crawlers being dropped. The Zerg is very defensively playing right now. He's got a good funnel here. Very good defend of the main anyhow. This expansion is a little less defended, but all the same the main is safe. And Robo Facility coming out after those 7 gateways. I don't know if you can support all that on 2 bases, but still. And the Twilight Council coming out could be teching on through to Templar, or very likely, given that the Robo Facility has already been dropped, we will be seeing some Blink or Charge Lot upgrades. Seeing a whole bunch more gateway units being warped in, as you'd expect. He's got 7 gateways now, why not? We're seeing the +1/+1 coming out for the Zerg player, as well as Zergling speed, and a lot more drones, as well as taking his 3rd. Not very much army for the Zerg player, I'm afraid, though. It's a little bit questionable that way. Where are we? There we are. Figuring out my shortcuts here. Army supply 40 to 8 in favor of the Protoss. That is not a good position for the Zerg to be in, because his 16th supply is all Zerglings. Nothing but Zerglings. And this army that's pushing across will deal with those very quickly. Worker supply in the Zerg's favor, but that is not the worry right now. This is what the Zerg is concerned about. And he's got a whole bunch more Zerglings and many more Spine Crawlers on the way. It looks like he's going to sacrifice that 3rd as he backs all his units back up to his Spine Crawler wall here, with 4 more coming up. I'm not entirely sure if he can hold this, but with this many Spine Crawlers and a proper bit of Zergling micro and perhaps a Queen with a couple transfuses on those Spine Crawlers, yeah, he might be able to hold it then, although this is a very dangerous pushing in. Proxy Pylon has now been dropped. Quick more Warpins. Down goes this 3rd, that was expected. Bogie did not expect otherwise, and trapping all those about 3/4 of those Zerglings with those force fields, stopping them from running up and causing much chaos in the base, which is the point of these ones. And there's a wall off here though, and they will only be able to butt their heads against it and rage. A lot of Zealots here, which is very effective against the fact that there are only Zerglings on the fields. I'm wondering how well our Zerg's going to be able to fare out of this. He does have the +1/+1 just finishing. However, there's +2 just about done for the Protoss for attack. This is a lot of Spine Crawlers, a lot of DPS coming out of these Spine Crawlers and this Queen, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. This is a very large army, and it can be continuously reinforced. Transfusing, coming down on that Spine Crawler, more Spine Crawlers, all those Spine Crawlers have fallen. Definitely cut down the Zealot count on this army by a ton, but there's still a lot of sentries, some more Zealots coming in, and still 3 Stalkers here. This is enough to cause a serious amount of damage. And the Spire is now finished. If he can get out a fair few Mutalisks, he may be able to hold this off. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of damage incurred before that happens, and this looks like it will probably be GG for Bogie. He's just losing all his stack. He's going to lose his lair. He lost all these drones. He just can't really come back from that. And Zealot streaming up into the expansion. This is going to be game. And in fact, it already is. He just hasn't called it yet, as RGN slowly works his way on through the base, killing everything he finds. So, in this situation, we see 115 to 3 supply, and there's the GG, and he loses the game. So we've seen RGNPerfect has now taken the first game in this series. We'll be moving on to the second game, as this is still a best of 3 series from the round of 32. Hopefully you enjoyed this cast. We will be seeing you very shortly with the next game in this series. Goodbye.